Hello, thanks for tuning in to the exhibition walkthrough for Living Land. I am Bradley Butler, Executive Director and Curator at Main Street Arts in Clifton Springs, New York. This was the one exhibition that was pushed from the 2020 calendar to the 2021 calendar due to COVID-19 last year. So we were supposed to have this just over a year ago, but this was the one exhibition we couldn't fit in the calendar anymore because we had to elongate one exhibition in order to accommodate another. So, but actually in that time, I think that the exhibition grew stronger. We included a couple more artists, and I think that the work that ended up being in the show made it even stronger than it would have been last year. So I guess we can look on the bright side for that one. This exhibition is made possible with funds from the Decentralization Program, which is a re-grant program of the New York State Council on the Arts, which is administered by Auburn Public Theater, and the Finger Lakes Community Arts Grant Program. So we're definitely grateful for that as well. Living Land is an invitational group exhibition about the growth and decay of the natural world. The themes present in the exhibition include the effects of invasive species, the connections between human beings, trees, and animals, spiritual forces present in nature, the changing agricultural landscape, and the raw power of nature itself. There are 6 artists included in the show: Laurie Beck Peterson from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Jack Elliott from Ithaca, New York, Peter Jemison from Victor, New York, Kaylee Mulberry from Canandaigua, New York, Scott Reagan from Webster, New York, and Helen Santelli from Pittsford, New York. So it's a really great collection of work, very diverse in media, but really cohesive altogether. And that's always something that we strive for in our group shows. So I'm going to start by giving you a little walkthrough here as I continue to talk. This exhibition runs through July 30th. And we definitely invite you to come see this show for yourself. The gallery is open from 11 to 3 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It will also be available in its interactive format very soon at interactive.mainstreetartscs.org. We have an artist talk planned, which will be both in person and online, and that will be July 10th at 5 p.m. That's a Saturday. And then we are also planning a cyanotype workshop with Laurie Beck Peterson, and that is planned for July 31st. So you can find more information on those things online. We currently have the link up for the artist talk, which is it's on their Facebook page, and then the information for the workshop will be going live tomorrow for you as well. And so I'm going to go in depth on each of the artists in the show. So we'll be looking at specific works, and then I'll also give another kind of walk through the show. But first I want to talk a bit about Laurie Beck Peterson, which, fun fact, Laurie was supposed to be a resident here April of 2020, but obviously those plans were put on hold as their residency program is still currently on hold. But she was always going to be in this show, and we're glad that she was still able to be, even though she wasn't going to be here for a residency. So, but Laurie Beck Peterson is an alternative process photographer living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she teaches at Tyler School of Art and Architecture. Most of her images are film-based using a Holga or pinhole camera. And in her statement, she says, This work is a photographic survey of the pre-spring leafless landscape, the trees marked for removal, the spaces left behind from felled trees, the tree stumps that remain, the single unframed prints, of which there are 3 in this show, 2 of them here, are bold in the classic Prussian blue of cyanotype and serve as sketches of history. And actually this process of cyanotype is a 19th century process whose origins began as means of documentation of flora and fauna. So very fitting that she would be, documenting that with cyanotype. So she presents this series of prints that record the time when affected ash trees were intentionally removed due to the emerald ash borer infestation, which if you're from the area, or the region, I think that you're well aware of this. So this one here, 2 pair, is one of the 3 pieces in the show. And the great thing about cyanotype is, with a lot of alternative process photography as well, you can be, expressive with the work, as well as be precise with the way the photo is exposed. There's great, you can see these raw edges here, which I love. And then another of hers called Benches. And then in the show also, we've included 4 pieces not on paper. So she actually has pieces of the ash trees themselves with photographic images in the same cyanotype process. And about these, she says, the tree sections printed with cyanotype are record keepers of a different kind. The wood stumps take on a new form as totems, making a significant point in environmental history when the emerald ash borer was introduced to the Western world through infested shipping containers. And you can see 2 different methods of image making on these stumps. So you've got on this one here, ash leaves section. This would be a photogram. So placing the leaves directly onto the surface and letting the sun work its magic with the emulsion right on the wood surface. And then this piece here, single tree section, would be a negative on top to make a contact print of the photographic image. And the workshop that she'll be doing here on the 31st is going to be printing on wood and paper. So that'll be a fun thing to keep an eye out for if that's something that would be of interest to you. All right, so the next artist we're going to look at is Jack Elliott. And Jack is from Ithaca, New York, and he's an associate professor at Cornell University, where he teaches studios on design and conducts research on environmental issues in the built environment. Since he began at Cornell in 1998, he has used the designed object or building situated in a real-world context to stimulate discourse, pull technology, and create impactful interventions. So this piece has a really great lean to it, which I love, and I love that it's right in the entry to the show. It's called Apogee. And he uses a scorching process, so he'll cut the, do kind of minimal work to natural pieces of wood and then scorch them with a blowtorch, and that's how he gets this black on this piece in particular. But he says that he makes sculpture that explores the relationship between trees, people, and our shared biophysical environment, and that these arbor works are derived from parts of trees that have been naturally harvested or have been removed because of disease or construction. Every project is different, but they're all characterized by the intention to challenge ideas about the human-nature relationship through juxtapositions of the geometric and organic, and the intentional and spontaneous, the light and the dark, and that he doesn't force the material away from what it is, but works with the material as it is to allow its hidden powers to be revealed through a set of minimalist interventions. And so these pieces in particular are using a new process in his repertoire, which is the Rishi lacquers, and that's a natural red lacquer, which can be highly polished, which you'll see here. And then he's also got a black on the rest. Instead of burning it, this is another, I believe it's a lacquer, but it could be a paint now that I'm thinking here. But really interesting juxtaposition, not only of, what he said with the organic and geometric, but that red, because the lacquer is derived from a sap. And this is all based on what he told me kind of in passing. So if I get it wrong, Jack, I'm sorry. But that it's derived from a sap, which is naturally red and naturally like a wound healing kind of thing for a tree. So to protect itself, it produces the sap on the wounded portion of the tree. So there's a great metaphor here in the work itself. And there's 4 of these pieces in the show. So next we're going to look at Peter Jemison's work. So Peter Jemison is from Victor, New York, and is part of the Seneca Heron clan. His career as an artist spans decades across wide and diverse accomplishments and impact. Through his work, he's explored a variety of topics, from creating political works that portray contemporary social commentary to those that reflect his relationship with the natural world. So in addition to being an artist, he's also an administrator, curator, editor, and writer. He was the founding director of the American Indian Community House Gallery in New York City, and currently serves as the historic site manager of Canandaigua State Historic Site, and which is also in Victor. And so we've got a piece called Heat Wave here, and his work in this show is acrylic on canvas. And about his work, he says, "My artwork is rooted in the framework of Native American art. I make naturalistic paintings and have also created a series of works done on brown paper bags. My art embodies Orenda, the traditional Haudenosaunee belief that every living thing and every part of creation contains a spiritual force." And recently, Sarah and I, my wife, and also director here, we were treated by seeing his exhibition at the MAG, Memorial Art Gallery in Rochester, which is on view through November 14th. And you can see a wide variety of his work, from paintings to the bags that he mentioned in his statement. So really great show. Definitely highly recommend that. And Peter's got 3 pieces in the show here. Here's this 3rd piece here, Night Blooms. Okay, and then next, we're going to look at Kaylee Mulberry's work. So Kaylee is an artist living in Canandaigua, New York. She is a former Main Street Arts artist in residence. She was here in April of 2018, and she received her BFA from Alfred University with a focus in painting and printmaking. Kaylee's current passion is creating small works, often dabbling in ink, graphite, gouache, watercolor, and sometimes tiny books. So this piece here is called Little Weapon, and I'm just continually knocked out by her attention to detail here. It's just amazing. Whenever I see, as a painter myself, whenever I see painting that's this tight, it's not something that would ever come naturally to me, and I'm definitely in awe of these kinds of artists, these kind of painters. And let's see here. Look at another piece over here. This one's called We Wade Through Bluebells. And Kaylee says, "The narrative structure of my work grapples with humanity's preconceived notions about animals, particularly those seen as pests." And she says, "I illustrate fantastical animal creatures amidst activities and settings that are both human-inspired and familiar to challenge humanity's tendency to disparage the unfamiliar and strange. And within these scenes, she hopes to invite a moment of shared tenderness. Next is Scott Reagan. And Scott was born in North Syracuse, New York, and served in the Air Force, U.S. Air Force from 1969 to 1973. He taught high school art for 27 years in the Rochester City School District and earned an MST from Rochester Institute of Technology and a BA in Education from SUNY Buffalo State College. This piece is called Green Door. And it's got a lot of great texture, as do all of his pieces. And he says that his style is impressionistic and primitive with elements of abstraction. He uses acrylic paint and mainly with a palette knife. And that's how he gets that texture. He likes quiet places, so his subjects most often are found on the country back roads. He says, our once agrarian way of life is rapidly vanishing. Landscapes of plowed fields and pastures dotted with wooden barns are a peaceful, bygone part of America that is becoming more memory than reality. So this is another piece by Scott. It's called Storm Coming, which it kind of looks similar, maybe not with so much drama, but similar outside the window here. Maybe a little storm coming. And then another one in here. He's got 4 paintings in the show, and these are 3 of them. And then last here, we've got Helen Santelli. And Helen grew up on a farm in Lyons. She attended Pratt Institute, Syracuse University, and RIT, and has made art in many genres and mediums, but has recently turned to ceramic sculpture, which is what's included in this show, which involves both 2D and 3D for her. Her artistic journey is one of learning new processes. So this piece is called Save the Bees 2, and really great collection of forms here on this and techniques. And there's these little bee decals, which I didn't actually fully realize that were there until I hung the piece in the gallery. So always finding new things about work, even when I know exactly what they look like. So that's, there's two pieces in this kind of format from Helen. And then we've also got a whole series of these fire alarm pieces and capturing wildfire imagery. And these are all ceramic. The thing that I really loved about especially the overlap of Helen's work with Jack's work and also with Laurie's stump pieces, this reference to the tree. And so these all reference, this series for Helen references these cut pieces of trees that look like they're charred, and then there's images of wildfires on them. But in her statement, she says, I remember the days when I dove into the crystal clear waters of Lake Ontario. Below the glistening surface, sunfish made their ritualistic pebble nests, hidden within dancing seaweed. Above, the bees and butterflies flourished unheeded. May my art be gently didactic to herald a return to the healthy planet from my heart. So her work, with the bees and also with the wildfire imagery, is referencing that, this healing for the planet. And there's the other fire alarm pieces in the show there as well. So those are the 6 artists included in the show. And as I said, I'll go back through and kind of walk through this exhibition again. And we look forward to seeing you at the gallery. As I said, this show runs through the 30th of July, so plenty of time to see it. And you can plan your visit to the gallery. We're open Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 to 3, and then Thursday through Saturday from 11 to 6. And if you have been to the gallery anytime since we've reopened last June, we were using an appointment system for visiting the gallery, but now we are fully open. No need to make an appointment. You can just come during our open hours, and we'll look forward to seeing you. And don't forget to mark your calendar for Saturday, July 10th at 5 p.m. when we'll be having the artist talk with the artists in the exhibition. And again, you can come to the gallery and attend that in person, or you can watch it right here on Facebook Live. And then lastly, artwork can be previewed and purchased in our online shop. You can just go to our website, mainstreetartscs.org, and you'll see the banner for the exhibition, and you can click that and follow the link to the shop and view the work in the show. And the interactive version of the exhibition will be live soon. So again, thank you for joining us, and have a great night.